Good morning, everybody. The purpose of this morning's lecture is to talk about ways in which you can approach the current assignment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through some actual examples of forum community engagement in the various areas of the curriculum that you're concerned with. So I'm going to look specifically at sound engineering, computer networks, computer games, and then general computing. Some of the examples I'm going to use are actually from previous students' work engaging with precisely what you're about to do now, or should be getting on with doing. So if I start with sound engineering, this applies to everybody really, but there are a number of ways that you can actually approach the engagement with communities. This is a classic example of somebody who's actually gone with the broadest possible question to a sound community, basically saying, how can I get my career off the ground in sound engineering? I've just graduated, so this guy is in pretty much the position that many of you will be in a couple of years' time. What practical steps can I actually engage in with actually, making a success of my career? And so you can read what he's said there, and you can read the responses, and actually this is just one of the responses that he's got to that. And there's a continuing discussion that takes place where people offer advice and he gives feedback, and this is important. This is one way that you can actually approach this particular assignment in terms of actually engaging with other people in talking about how you can advance your career. So that's certainly a possibility for one or two of you, I would guess, in terms of how you might approach this particular assignment. At another level, again staying with sound here, this is somebody who this is a community which is geared towards allowing people to critique and listen to other people's music. So they're allowing each other to post up different sort of audio files of stuff that they've done, and then there's a whole discussion on what people think about it, and then obviously people will defend if they're being criticised or something. People will defend what they're doing. Again, if particularly any of the music people do this, I'd be very, very happy, because I think it's an excellent. The whole issue is you putting yourself on the line and sort of getting other people to say what they think about what you're doing, and sort of you engaging and defending and supporting what other people are doing, etc. That's all very, very important. So I'd be very pleased to see anybody do that. Just staying with sound one more time. This is a theoretical forum here. All of these are actually on forums.musicplayer.com, which I don't know if any of you have discovered, but it seems to be pretty rich in various opportunities for community engagement. This is where people are actually talking about their tips and tricks for playing instruments, for playing various music and stuff. So here's some stuff on understanding how how to form scales on the guitar in this particular case, and again, this is something that you could be engaging with a different sort of angle on the music sound engineering area. Changing the subject, let's have a look at a networking community here. This is an actual student's work here, where there was a particular. This is actually a student helping somebody out with their own query. Now, I'm particularly impressed if this happens, because this is again you showing signs of you being professional and being able to offer advice to other people. That's really impressive, and this student was certainly rewarded, because this is someone who's just sort of talking about IP conflicts and the sort of technical issues with everybody having problems with the issues, and he's come up with a reasonably sensible suggestion there. It's when you can actually get to the stage of actually making suggestions to other people, helping other people out. Well, that's what you get paid for. That's why people employ you. So, a similar networking scenario here. Again, this is the same student again getting involved with some technical queries, technical issues, helping people out. And I mean, what this actually shows me is that there's a very high level of understanding on the part of this student about what's actually being articulated in a very technical domain, and not only is there an understanding but an appreciation of what sort of action that particular student can take to help these other people. I would have absolute confidence that this particular individual would have little problem getting a job. Because they clearly understand the way people talk in the industry, and they clearly are capable of actually offering help and advice to other people there. So I mean, this is really the epitome of what we're actually driving at with this career development module. Just one more example, same thing again, just a continuation of the conversation, but you can again see that there's a very high level of technical sort of knowledge there on the part of this student. Changing the subject again to computer games, this is a particular question that was asked on a games forum by somebody who's obviously, you know, a student but wanting to get into sort of getting involved with these communities, and asking a relatively simple question. And what actually happens is it's a very broad discussion, a very general discussion on a sort of a general topic, but still there's language being used here which is relevant to your industrial usage. It's relevant to the way that you actually would converse with other people. And so when you're in a social situation later on, maybe being interviewed for a job or something like that, then obviously the fact that you've been talking to people about these general issues and you've been getting an idea of the whole sort of language and feel for the industry and the way people talk, that will affect the way you present yourself. That will affect the level to which you appear to be informed about what's going on, and that will also have an effect on the whole sort of confidence of your presentation and everything else. So I think this is a good example, although it's not particularly deep. This is a good example of people engaging in a sort of general discussion, but benefiting from it, at a number of levels. Here's a more technical one in the games area. So it's very much relating to sort of texturing and the use of 3D graphics and all of that business. And there's a good example here of correction of language, where the particular student is obviously not entirely clear on what sort of language is appropriate to use, and another sort of participant in the conversation is obviously correcting them in terms of the language that they mean, whether particularly they're talking about the texture or the mesh. So I mean, this is a good example of people actually modifying the way they talk through this engagement, and this is how you learn. This is where you actually begin to learn the professional language of the particular domain that you're working in. And this applies to everybody, whether they're doing sound, games, or networks, or whatever it is. It's learning that professional language which is so important. So just to summarize, the key things that I've been showing you with these examples primarily is to do with this issue of the learning of professional language, and so the social engagement gradually lets you acquire a knowledge of the way people talk in particular domains. That's really, really important. Also, the issue of highlighting where you can help other people. I'm particularly interested where you can help other people. You don't have to, but obviously if you can, then it may be that you're sort of more professionally advanced than those that perhaps feel that they're still needing to know a lot more about the domain. But I'm particularly interested in where you can help other people. But even when cases where you're asking other people to help you, this whole issue of exchange, conversation, learning professional language is extremely important. And the other thing that I just want to sort of emphasize here is I've given you a very wide range of examples, very wide range of possibilities, from the simple discussing of how do I become a successful whatever, to very technical discussions on the use of particular technologies, etc. There's a very wide range of possible discussions, possible approaches to using these communities, and so I don't want anybody to feel that they're being forced to do a particular thing which isn't really what they want to be doing right now. but the most important thing is engagement, social engagement, talking to people, and adapting your own sort of the way that you talk, your language, to fit with the way that other people use the language, other people talk about the domains that they're involved with. Thank you very much. I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you next week. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.